Hyundai won't build this car, but they really should. Today, we're going to use the power of Photoshop and a little bit of creativity to take the 2023 Hyundai Elantra in and turn it into a modern interpretation of this classic Hyundai Sport Coupe. We're talking the Tiburon. Let's go. Let's go ahead and pop this into Photoshop and talk about the plan that we're going to make for the car. We're going to take design elements from the old Tiburon. I'm going to start off with the side vent. And so I want to do some sort of side vent element. I'm not going to copy this one for one. I want this to be an evolution of what I think it would look like, what it would look like with the Elantra N's design, with those chiseled line marks going through the body. And we're definitely going to add a wing. 2 doors, obviously. And we're going to keep the chiseled body lines from the Elantra N because, love it or hate it, man, this design is memorable. You see this car and you know exactly what it is. While I get started on this transformation, let's talk about this week's Photoshop Pro Tip. Use the Object Select tool and the Fill and Delete option to quickly select objects and get them on new layers for editing while also quickly filling in the background. This works really well with objects like cars and also gives you a quick but not perfect option to fill in the background all at the same time. Photoshop's AI has become fairly good at this process, and with minimal cleanup, you can select your object and have it on its own layer in a matter of seconds. I still favor using the pen tool when I need a super precise selection, but if you need results fast, it works. So now that we've gotten the Elantra N separated on its own layer, we've got Photoshop to fill in the background. It's good enough. It's not great. It's not perfect. But we're going to put the car right back on top of this background, so we'll never see this. Let's go ahead and cut this car in half. We'll get it looking crispy and deadly like a shark. Let's go. Hyundai actually has a pretty rich history in building coupes, and they showed that with the modern interpretation concept that they built just a little while ago, and the Envision 74, which I thought was a beautiful concept. That's why I think this is maybe a good time for Hyundai to take a look at building a coupe again. The Tiburon was so popular, and it started out as kind of a mid-90s econo crab box, but they really brought it into its own in the 2000s with the later versions. When Hyundai launched the revised Tiburon in 2002, the one that we all know and love today, they did it in a way that was just the right way to do a car like this. The proportions were bigger. They brought it out with a little bit more power. It came standard with the 5-speed manual transmission. Everybody wanted to drive some sort of sport coupe. You wanted to feel like you were in the Fast and the Furious. And this car gave you an opportunity to feel that way, to have that emotion without breaking the bank, without spending all of your money. And it was something that was different than what everybody else had. They hit a lot of good notes on the original Tiburon. V6, manual transmission, pushing, at the time, 165-ish horsepower. And when I look back thinking about things like the Honda Civic Coupe and other cars that were kind of in that same lane, I guess it made sense then. But for today's market, if you're going to make a low-price, entry-level sports car, it's got to be rear-wheel drive. So that's the focus on this one today. I'm going to make this a rear-wheel drive car, and the Tiburon is so popular. Even today, people are still buying these cars, building them out, building cars that are great to drive. And, if you did something that was right, they'd have to do it right for this current market. So something that would be a competitor against like the BRZ 86 crowd. And with the styling of the Elantra, just looking at the lines, it really, really made me think of the Tiburon. The Elantra N is one of those cars that kind of came out of nowhere. We weren't really expecting it, but Hyundai dropped it, and it has been a hit ever since. Rave reviews. This car is begging to be turned into a 2-door sports car. In fact, these are the reasons why I think Hyundai is in a position right now that a car like this could kind of make sense. Bring out something that's going to hit the enthusiast, something that's going to undercut all of these 2-door coupes that are coming out that are supposed to be affordable, but you're never going to get it for the MSRP that they put it out there for. Their affordable sports car is no longer affordable. And so what are you left with? You're left with BRZ 86, going to an older platform like an old TT or a Miata, which is now an aging platform. We've got some options, but again, in a world full of SUVs, and I don't hate on SUVs, I have a family, we need the seats, but at the same time on the weekend, I want to have something fun to drive. And a car like this, especially with the way things are going at Hyundai right now, their build quality is on point. Their performance is on point. So let's talk about what's happening here. We extended the front end of the car. Again, I want to give it the appearance that we've shoved a bigger engine in the front. And the feel here is front engine, rear wheel drive, manual transmission, V6. It's a winning formula. And I know it goes a little bit beyond what the GR86 BRZ has done because they're running the 4-cylinder boxer engine. But again, Hyundai is known for doing it differently. The Elantra N is different. I think they could do it differently here. So front end has been extended a little bit. I kept the stock wheels. I actually like these wheels. If you want to see what I think of some other sets of wheels that I think really fit the design of the Elantra N, you can check out that video on the channel. But on this car, for this being a concept based on the Elantra N, I wanted to keep that portion of the Elantra N along with the lines, just so we can see where we came from. I did go ahead and chisel out the front and then add a little bit more of a body kit, just kind of lowered the car down just a little bit and added that shark fin wing, which I find it ironic. I pulled the shape from the taillights, and so they've already got these elements in here they're really reminiscent of what I think a modern interpretation of the Tiburon could be. Did I nail it with the design? What do you think about this going against an 86 BRZ crowd? I mean, power of Photoshop here. Let's put it side by side. I think that in a market where these cars exist, this car makes a lot of sense. And looking at the three of these together, I mean, now if the performance was on point like it is with the Elantra N, this would be a tough competitor. This car makes a lot of sense. So Hyundai, from a fan, this would be super cool. So what do you think of the render, guys? Let me know in the comments, what two-door version of a car would you want to see on the market? If you want to see me use the power of Photoshop and take the 86 and turn it into a crazy Initial D inspired piece of art, you can check out this video over here. And if you want to see what wheels I think work really well with the design of the Elantra N, you can check out this video over here. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe for more awesome car design content, and I will see you in the next one. God bless.